So let me first explain you what exactly the problem is, and I think I need not explain you the problem again. So you are given with a set of integers, and I think the you have to form, you have to minimize. I think this is the output you have to do. So you have to form a pairs in this numbers such that the sum of these pairs will be the minimum possible. Okay, so here he has found 1, 5, 2, 3, and 4, 4. So if you take the sum of this, it is 6, 5, and 8. So overall, the maximum pair sum for this array is 8. So for the given even length, so they are very sure that it is even length. So I can go for n by 2. So this is one of this makes easier. The solution becomes easier. So pair up with the elements up to num into n by 2 pairs such that num is in exactly in one pair. Okay, so it means that every element uh, should belong to one or other pair. Okay, so it means that you cannot leave any element, or neither you can include any element twice in a pair. So if you have an element, how many pairs you will get? So for this, if you have n elements, how many pairs you will get? Can you respond please? Oh yeah, we would get n by 2. So we will get n by 2 responses. Now, if you think of this, so the easiest logic which clicks to our mind is the basic for loop based method. I mean, like you will take, so you will take one element in here. So I mean, you will take one element and you will try to pair up with this. You will create all pairs. You will take another element from this. You will try to create all pairs. You will take third element and you will try to pair up with all these elements. Then you will try to see the values of the max value which you are getting. So if you are doing that, for example, you are taking one element and you are creating a pairs of 3, 5, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, and 3, 6, and you are taking the maximum pair sum, you are storing this value. Next time you are checking another element, and now you are pairing with this 5, 4, then I mean 4, 2, then 2, 4. So considering each iteration once, if you're forming a pair, then it's like almost trying every combination of pair available. So now if you look at this array, how many pairs are possible for this? For example, 3, 5 and 4, 2, 4, 6. This is one, right? Another one, 3, 2, 5, 4, 4, 6. So you end up with various combinations. So if you go with this brute force approach without looking more detailed into problem and what exactly we need to do and all that, this would lead to the very high order of complexity. I mean, it would be almost optimistically it should be O of n square. But if you do not implement properly, it could be even O of n to the power of 3 and O of n to the power of 4 as well, if it is not properly implemented. So a good solution to this is to apply an algorithm design paradigm called as greedy method. So here what we do is, instead of trying out all the combinations and then forming a pair, what we try to do here is we try to form logic based on which we start forming the pairs. So if you have a good logic based on which, if you if you write the logic, then it might be a case that you may need not encounter, you may need not explore all the combinations. So that's what is the trick in this. So don't try to approach every problem as a brute force approach. Try to one of the first thing is try to see if you can apply divide and conquer, if you can apply greedy method. If not, you can apply dynamic. If not, you see if you can apply backtracking. If not, you can apply constructive programming methods. So this is what you gain by practicing every problem one and on after that. So here, if we analyze this description, I need to form a pairs and I need to reduce this sum. So now when, see, what I need to do is I need to minimize a minimized maximum pair sum. When would I get? I would get this minimized maximum pair sum if I try to minimize the value of a sum of two elements in this pair. So I need to form a pairs of elements such that uh, see, I need to form a element such that the sum of these two elements will be least possible in the available combinations. So now if I say that I have a let's say I have this array 3 5 and 2 3. Now if I consider the largest element in this, okay, which is the largest element in this array? The largest element is 5. Now, so 5 added with which element will reduce the sum? So if I think in this way, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find a pairs such that the sum of two elements in the pair is least possible for the given combination. So in that case, any possible element, any possible element, for example, if I even if I consider 3 or 2 or that, so any element in this should be paired with a element like from the available elements which tend to increase the sum by least, right? So for example, if I consider 2 and if I want to make a decision whether to pair 2 with 3 or 5, so I mean here the available options I have is whether should I pair 2 with 3 or 5. So in this case, pairing with which element will result in the least sum value? It is obviously 3, because if you pair it with a 5, it will increase the value. If you increase this value, then obviously when you take max of this, the output of this pair will be definitely higher. So if we can minimize all these sums within, if we can minimize the sums within this, obviously max of this will also be the minimum, right? So going on that logic, like if you have solved this and if you have understood this discussion, you will understand that we have to form a pair such that every element will be paired with another possible element which would increase the value by smallest amount possible. So one such thing, the best way to solve this is to sort this array. So if I sort this array, the elements available to me would be 2, 3, 3 and 5. And once I sort this array, now let me just type something and discuss. For example, if I have element, uh, same input we'll consider for time being. Okay, if I consider the same element for time being, and what I said is I need to sort it. So after sorting, the value would be 2, value would be 3, 3 and 5, right? So after sorting, now tell me, if I consider 2, now 2 can be technically paired with 3, 3 and 5. Or if I consider this array in reverse order, for example, this is the largest element in the list. 5 is the largest element in the list. So now, in order to form a pair of least value, this 5 should be added with which element? So that this 5, after forming a pair within any element, will form a value of least sum. So 5 should be paired with which element? Yes. So 5 has to be paired with the least element available. So largest element in an array should be paired with the smallest element in the array, so that sum of these two will be lesser as compared to other pairings. For example, a largest element in array is paired with the second largest element, obviously sum will be the highest possible in this array, right? So I need to reduce this sum. So the best way to reduce the what do I say, to reduce the sum between these two elements is to pair the largest value with the smallest. So once I pair largest with the smallest element, what is the next elements are remaining? The next are 3 and 3. So here too, this becomes the second largest. Second largest has to be combined with the second minimum. Likewise, third largest should be paired with third minimum. So if you keep on repeating till you form n minus 2 pairs, and the max of these sums will be the output of this solution. Okay. So do you want me to write a program, or that should be enough? Like, let me know, do you want me to write the program for this, or you will figure out writing a Python program for it? I think even other branch students are also there. Electronics and ENTC students are also there here. Okay, I see majority of students might not are not interested in that, but okay. So I think those who feel you need not discuss this, you can just I think you should be fine to leave the meeting. And those who want to see how we are writing the program can just stay and just observe what we are writing here. Okay, so now if you want to write a program for this, so it's basically a Python program. So what you need to do is you need to first, okay, now tell me, after sorting, what would be the complexity of this program? The complexity of this solution, the best of best solution would be O of n log n, because the most expensive operation here is sorting, which is O of n log n, and then whatever the logic of forming pairs is O of n order of operation. So that's the complexity part of this program. So the first thing is I have list in num. So num is the list variable. So what I need to do is I need to sort it, and what I will do is I'll do in place sorting. So I'll call num dot sort. What this will do is this will sort that array, and after sorting, so min underscore max pair sum. Let me declare a variable to store the value of this. So I'll say 0. Then after doing that, you need to iterate here. How do you iterate? So I'll take a for loop for I in range. I need to iterate for I in range. So how many times I need to iterate? I need to iterate n by 2 times. So 0, 2, I think I might no need to go till n by 2. The second index is always exclusive. So I need to just set this max. I need to keep on rotating max underscore pair underscore sum is equal to, I need to form a pair and I need to see what's the value. So every time I get that, I form a pair and I see if this is the max from the earlier formed sum, then that would be the min max pair sum I need to print, right? So every time I'll check with this previously computed pair sum, and if it exceeds, then I change the value. If it doesn't exceed, I retain the same value. So I need to check the value. So let me form a small variable pair sum. See, I'm deliberately writing a simpler logic so that other branch students can understand. But I think other student can just CSC IT, and other students who are good in Python syntax can optimize it which whatever way they feel is better. So pair sum. How do you pair now? How do you get this first and last element in Python? Now, okay, let me see. This is some syntactic question. Let me ask you and find out. How do I get first element and last element in Python? Now, it's a little bit tricky Python syntax. How would you get first and last element? So if I say here of I get whatever if I is starting from 0, I get that, right? So as and when I increments, I need to decrement the previous value. So I need to get that. So what should I write here? What should I write here? Which would give me this first element, last element, second last, third last. How do I get it? What should I write? So something Python related. Can any student figure out what should I write here? Yeah, any student, what should I write there? Minus of n. Okay, some are writing n. Okay, see in Python, I think those who are doing n minus I minus 1, that's also fine. N minus I is also fine. N plus I is also, anything is fine. But if you talk about Python, in Python, whenever you put a negative index, it gives me a last element. Minus 1 gives me a last element. Minus 2 gives me second last. Minus 3 gives me third last. So going on that, if here it is 0, here if it is 0, as I said, so it should be something called as minus of I plus 1. That works very well. Minus of I plus 1. So initially I is 0, first element, right? Then what would be this 0 plus 1? It is 1. So minus 1. So minus 1 gives me the last element to it, right? So when I is equal to 1, next in the next sequence, when I is equal to 1, so I is equal to means the second minimum, and as per our logic, second minimum has to be paired with second largest. So second largest would be second last element from the array. So the second last here, it would be minus 2, right? So this is something deliberately I wanted to use Python syntax. If not, you can fairly use that length of none s minus plus 1. You can do that. It depends upon what language you are using. Okay, so form the pair and then is equal to, just take a max of both this, the previous value and the current computed one. Just take a max of that. If you don't want to use this max, or if you're using any C, C++ or any Java, then you need to just compare the condition. So min underscore max underscore. So whatever is the maximum among this, that would be the output of this. So once you come out of for loop, you need to just return min score max underscore pair sub. You need to return the final value. Let us see if by executing this, if we have any syntactic errors or anything, we'll solve here. Name, they're saying n not is this. We did not get this. So the best thing is to use length of numbers. What it says. Okay, so you get this. Okay, how do you solve this? This is something a Python syntax related, and it's very good to get this errors. Okay, yes, I think those who are saying that. Now, had it been in any other language, that could have been better. But in Python, whenever you do slash, it is always floating point division operation. Even if they are integers, they'll always give you floating point. And to avoid that, in Python we have another operator called as double slash. This should do the work for you. And what it is saying, min max pair underscore sub. So the sample solution is accepted. Let me submit and see if I get the all test cases passed. So you can see here that it is. So I think yes, when we get success, it means that we have passed all the test cases. Okay, so I hope you got how we wrote this program. Okay, so there is various ways to write program in Python. I think if you check some of the solutions, if you further try to optimize, there are various ways to optimize it. Okay.